Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all fandoms, welcome to the Ferret Raccoon podcast 130. I am the Angry Raccoon.
I'm the Indigenous Owl.
And we are back for the last normal podcast of 2019, which will shortly be followed by podcast 131, which is going to be the best and worst of 2019. Something I think pretty much everyone is looking forward to. I mean, I'm looking forward to this more than Christmas to some extent.
Yeah, I think this year's been pretty lackluster though.
It's been lackluster, but it's kind of been interesting at the same way, because I know for a fact some of the things people are going to bring up on this end of year podcast is going to be maybe controversial to some extent. I already know that I'm going to cause some controversy with some of the things I have to say about some things. You know, I might have to leave the podcast just based on those things. I might have to retire after this one.
It'd just be like Raccoon has left the building.
Pretty much mic drop, say my piece, you know, it's just gone. You know, you guys finish the rest. But yeah, we are going to be doing a pretty busy and pretty hectic podcast. I don't know what happened in the world, but everyone was just like, we're going to do our event, we're going to drop our trailers, we're going to do this and do that. It's been a bit ridiculous because in past podcasts, when we've done like the last Christmas-y podcast, it's either been jam-packed or it's been nothing. So it's quite interesting, all the things we have to talk about. Very mix and match, I guess you could say. But I guess first thing we'll do is I'll ask you, Al, what you did over the last 2 weeks or so, over the last fortnight in that.
Yeah, I haven't really been up to too much, but in terms of things I've been watching, I recently started watching the Generation 1 Yu-Gi-Oh! Series on Netflix.
Okay.
They put the old series on there,
Nice.
So I've just decided that I wanted to watch it. Really good series. I am a fan of like the video games, especially like Forbidden Memories on PS1. Mm-hmm. I really do enjoy that game, so I thought I hadn't watched the series from growing up anyway, so I'm thinking, okay, let me just try and get into the series now, as it's on Netflix anyway.
Yeah.
Pretty good. I am enjoying the storyline so far. But one thing I have to say, the voice acting though, it makes me laugh.
Are you watching the English
Yeah,
one? Okay.
so I'm just laughing half of the time. Some bits I'm just like, no, I need to rewind that and watch that again because it's just too funny. But yeah, I love it.
It was the early days of like, I mean, technically you could still say the 80s and the 90s was the early days of English like dubbing, but even still, you know, some of it's a bit hokey even now today. But that's quite interesting. Are you aware that they're doing like a new Yu-Gi-Oh! Series?
No,
next year?
I haven't heard.
Yeah, just Yu-Gi-Oh! 2020.
Oh, wow.
I'm not sure if it's a remake or a reboot, but it's just called Yu-Gi-Oh! 2020 right now.
Wow.
So,
okay, no.
That's something to keep in mind. That might be the reason why they put it on Netflix.
Yeah, definitely then.
I doubt it, but yeah, it could have been. Anything else you want to
and then recently I've just been playing on the NES. I've been playing like Tetris a lot because I want to get better at the game. Mm-hmm. So yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Pretty much it, yeah. Yeah, it's been the same for me. I've been very Secret Squirrel, pretty much. Just a bunch of things I've been watching and finishing off, getting ready for the end of the year podcast. I only just realised how much I've been slacking in terms of the stuff that might potentially be good. Spoilers, there's probably hardly going to be any animated like TV series on my list because I just forgot to watch them. Simply put,
fair enough.
like, you know, and I'm looking forward to watching a lot of them. There are some things I might at least give a watch, and I might put them on my honorable mentions.
Yeah.
I've heard good things about, and there's a few things that I always wanted to watch, but it looks like it might mostly be live action and anime for the most part.
Right, okay.
Just still fine. I think I've watched a decent amount of stuff. There's a few things that I'm still watching. I've got like the last 3 animes I need to finish watching, and so far those animes have been pretty damn good.
Okay.
Very surprisingly good. This year hasn't been a good year for animation, which I know most people know that's like my thing, especially animated films.
Okay.
Absolutely terrible, apart from like The Missing Link, which was a good film. Everything else was just so bad. But the one film I did watch, which I can talk about, is a 2016 film called American Fable. This is an interesting film I watched where it's a little bit hard to describe because I guess if you look at the poster and you see some of the images, you might think it's some kind of like fantasy horror film.
Yeah.
It's not. It's essentially like a 1980s fairy tale in a fairy tale kind of story, which essentially revolves around a girl and her family living on a farm, and there's the basic premise is something is essentially causing a rift between. I don't want to spoil it. Causing a rift between like the daughter and the family. Something is going on, and the daughter's involved with this, and it kind of does present itself as a modern day, well, in the 80s, fairy tale, given the characters they meet, and there's kind of nice blurrings between like fiction and reality, which it was interesting. It's a very well shot film. Unfortunately, some of the characters do. I don't know intentionally, they kind of do feel very cartoony at some point.
Okay.
There's a character that crosses the line at some point, and it's just like, right, I've crossed this line, now I will always be like this. And I was like, that's a bit generic. But it's got some interesting stuff. It's not the most exciting watch in the world, and I wouldn't recommend it for everyone, but if you've got nothing to do and you really want to watch a odd-ish film, I would recommend American Fable. But yeah, it's worth a watch, I would say. You could do worse.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to mention, other than what we did last, I think, weekend, wasn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, well, we had, I guess, soon to be maybe annual gaming night, I guess you could call it. We don't have an official name for it. We was playing all the hits.
Yeah.
We was playing Tekken Tag, of course.
We played the original CTR.
Original CTR, of course, the OG game.
Then we jumped on the NES.
Yeah, jumped on the NES. We was playing Tetris. It's Tetris for everyone.
Yeah.
Tetris for Owl, Tetris for Raccoon.
We played Double Dragon, the first Double Dragon.
Oh yeah, Double Dragon. That was so bootleg at some point.
Yeah. And then we jumped on this first Super Mario game as well.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, that was too funny.
And then I think we was getting at Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
Yeah.
Of course. And we was just like, ooh, I think everyone's getting worked out on that game.
Yeah, that game was too frustrating.
It's the AI, really.
Yeah.
On multiplayer, it's like, whatever can happen. But
Iceman, what can I say?
Oh my god, Iceman was that spamming though, man. Oh. He was the real final boss right there.
Oh god.
Jeez. It was fun though. I think we unlocked maybe 2 characters.
Yeah, in the end, yeah.
So maybe next time, if we're probably gonna have to do like 3 rounds, and as soon as we see Iceman, that's it, game over. Or just get good, I guess.
Yeah.
And what was the last game we played? Me and one of your friends.
Gekido.
Gekido. We almost did that full playthrough.
Yes. Oh my god.
Perfect playthrough.
Yes.
First time playthrough.
Yeah, you guys.
Blind run.
You guys did so well. Oh my gosh. I was like, wow, no, they were doing better than me and my boyfriend usually play the game, and we're usually struggling. And our Raccoon and one of my friends, they got through the game like literally nothing. They it's like they already played the game.
Yeah, it's like I mean, I'm not gonna try and boast, but it's like we got fairly close to beating it.
Yeah.
Or at least the arcade.
Yeah, no, it's actually true.
And I'll be honest, we weren't even like trying to be skillful or nothing. Like, granted, there were points where we were like just juggling people in the air with like 2-player, but like that was luck. There was luck.
It was luck that day.
There was a moment where it was literally like someone was about to walk out the house, because I got so lucky at one point where it was like, oh yeah, we died, game over. No.
Next level.
Raccoon just somehow bossed it.
Yeah! It was actually so funny.
It was ridiculous. I mean, look forward to our full playthrough coming to the channel soon. We're taking that game to Evo, man. Twitch, get ready.
Yes, we have to.
After speedrun, get ready.
Yeah, literally, I think you guys, you were on the second to last level.
Yeah. Which it looked like it, which is pretty crazy, but I'm gonna have to get me a copy, practice that, man. Get them speedrun techs coming. But that was really fun. Looking forward to doing it soon.
Yeah, definitely.
But let's move on to let's start talking about the stuff on the podcast, because we've got a lot of stuff to get through. The first story we're going to talk about, something that happened over the last fortnight, was that Sony unveiled its winter lineup music video, which I think is literally just called I forget what it's called. It's like called Winter Mix or something like that.
Yeah.
And what was interesting about this animated music video was the fact that it had essentially plagiarized animation, as in copied, like literally almost trace-wise copied, certain sequences from a ton of animators from across the board. The level of plagiarism in this video is ridiculous. Like, they were basically asking to get caught for stealing.
Oh.
Because they essentially copied from, Western animation, such as the Steven Universe movie, all the way to like works from the sorry, excuse me, losing my train of thought. independent animators,
Right.
you know, most notably people who came from the French animation school, the Gobelins. I'm not sure how you pronounce that, but it's Gobelins. Lots of their stuff and just other people's stuff got plagiarized, even taking from like Fooly Cooly, one of the most noteworthy scenes in that series was pretty much just copied and traced. It is ridiculous. Now, in the description and download link, I have a link that links essentially all the research, all the information that's come about it, which is there's a lot to unfold because obviously people are viciously somewhat trying to track down this, and we have to use the quotation marks, animator, which is a one Kevin Boa, or Bo, I'm not really sure how you say it. It's B-A-O.
Yeah.
Who essentially has gone into hiding. Funny enough, his profile is offline.
Ooh.
The company that hired him, Connection, they pretty much, I've been trying to track him down. They've kind of taken that video and everything he's done, kind of gone offline. Sony has understandably taken the video down. Within the link, there should be another link to said video. If you want to see the video, there is a comparison video there as well, so you can make up your own mind if you don't think this is stealing or whatever. But the way I see it, it's stealing, simply put. I'm really surprised as well that YouTube's copyright system didn't detect that at all, because it's almost frame for frame in a lot of senses. Yeah, I'm surprised, and the saddest thing about it is that the whole animation is almost completely ripped from other people's work. It's not as if it's like, oh, I'm gonna borrow the sequence, I didn't know how to do it really nice. It's like there's tons of things. People are still finding things in this, which is
that's bad.
Ridiculous. And I mean, it is really upsetting because this is essentially a system in which you have created freedom to make anything in the world and you chose to just take from other people.
Yeah.
Like, I honestly hope that this guy, you know, lands himself a lawsuit, which I imagine is what he's probably trying to avoid, because you've got Sony involved in this as well now.
Yeah.
You've essentially got Gaimax, who owns FLCL. You've got Cartoon Network involved in this now, as well as, you know, the French, you know, animation school as well. You've involved a lot of people in this, and there is very clear evidence. He deserves to get sued, I'm afraid, because that's stealing at the end of the day.
Yeah, you can't be doing that.
I unfortunately find him very pathetic, honestly, in the day. So I wanted to bring that up, which is very unfortunate, and I think it's worth knowing about. Hopefully we find this man, and hopefully he pays for his crimes. Because apparently he's done it before in the past.
Oh,
and
okay, so he's known for this.
Yeah, and he's apparently justified it by essentially saying it's not copying because it was drawn with my hand.
Oh my days.
So you can kind of tell the kind of person we're dealing with here. Yeah, so
okay.
Bit of a frustrating start to the podcast, but let's move on to something that also revolves around the internet. And that's the Netflix trailer for the semi-documentary, which is Don't Fuck With Cats, Hunting an Internet Killer, not an for some reason. This trailer is pretty interesting, especially given what it's based on. It's essentially based on the situation of that piece of garbage who was like, yeah, I'm going to upload a video of me doing something to some animals. I'm not going to say what exactly it is if you don't know, if you don't want spoilers, or you just don't want to hear. That's completely understandable. I'm really glad this documentary exists, as it essentially highlights like two very important factors in like our current culture, which is like the really kind of upsetting concept of like these attention-seeking psychopaths we have nowadays, which obviously have a platform to do all these things and gain all this attention and kind of, spit a verse about how the world is so cruel and how I'm going to do this and how I'm going to do that. Not to say, people of this nature weren't doing this before, but it seems as almost if they want the attention before they go out and do terrible things. And essentially the power of the internet as well. Yeah. It's kind of like you have like these two powers kind of going at it, which I think is kind of interesting and is worth knowing because it's something that is unfortunately going to keep happening. Yeah. And it's cool that I guess people will be educated by this to some extent. Like they may know how to handle this or how to report it. And I do hope that this film also goes into like the psychology of these psychopathic people, as well as the psychology of the people who want to like viciously find this guy and stop him. Because what does make a person want to just track this person down? Because not everyone. I'd imagine people saw it and probably went, whatever.
Yeah.
But, these people were pretty hell-bent on
Yeah,
bringing
they
this person
literally
to
want
justice.
to find this guy.
Which is understandable. No one wants to see that. And no one should be doing that. Especially if... And, and there's some good in that, because you could essentially be saving someone's life at the end of the day. Or many people's lives. It's really interesting. It looks like it's going to be kind of dark, given the subject matter. But it also looks like it's going to be an interesting watch. I hope they handle things respectively with a lot of care, and they don't try and over dramatize it to some extent, because we don't need more fiction added onto this. Do you have any thoughts on this trailer for the most part?
I just thought it was really dark. I actually literally watched it once. I was like, I can't watch it again. I just thought, no, it's too dark for me.
It's understandable.
Yeah.
I mainly wanted to kind of talk about the importance that this carries, and I think it's worth knowing about. In no way am I saying this is a good thing. Yeah. I'm just kind of saying this is an important thing because, like I said, it's something that might unfortunately keep happening. Yeah. So at least there's something that, if anything, hopefully it'll be educational to some extent. This is what could happen and what you could do to stop it. There are other cases, I know there's a guy who actually I'm not even going to go into it because it's very dark as well. Yeah. Whatever, you can message me if you want to know about that situation, that video. But let's move on to the next trailer, which it's all about Black Widow for this one.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. Oh dear. Oh no. Yeah, so we have the first official teaser trailer for Black Widow, the next Marvel film that everyone is looking forward to. For a Marvel film, why was this teaser so light on story? I know that it's a teaser trailer. I understand you don't want to give everything away, but what's going on in this film? What's the story? Yeah. I found that a bit weird. I thought they would be really eager to be this is what's gonna happen. Scarlet Witch has to do this, and there's a problem with this guy. They may have shown the villain. I don't know who the villain is.
Yeah, I was thinking, who is it?
It looks like it might just be Russia.
Oh gosh.
I don't know. Yeah. But at least Marvel's doing something different, I guess, to some extent. It's still a superhero film at the end of the day, but I don't know. I'm curious about your oh no when I brought up this trailer.
I watched the trailer. I was bored. I was thinking this film looks bland. Oh my gosh. I'm like, no, this is no, sorry.
Yeah, that's kind of my takeaway as well. It did look very bland, and I was kind of thinking about maybe they're trying to go for a slower spy thriller, kind of heist-ish film like the Bourne films. But would you being said that, it's do Marvel fans want that? I'm not lumping me or you in as Marvel fans, but obviously we both came away with this going, I don't want that, I'm bored. Yeah. And when you compare it to the John Wick films, which I guess they're popular right now, you'd want to capitalize on that, as well as the fact that it just looks boring, and the fact that she really should have got a film many, many, many years ago.
Yeah, why are they only just bringing out a film?
It's a lot to consider, and especially after Endgame. It's does anyone care?
Yeah. Even in the Avengers, I didn't find her interesting of a character.
I like the character because I know of the things she's done in the comics.
Oh, okay.
So I'm always happy to see her, and and I do respect Marvel for not trying to push her to the side and go, woman who can't do anything.
Right.
I do like the fact that they've always been no, she is a staple of the Avengers. She will always be here. I do appreciate that fact with Marvel. Whether it's for pandering intention or whether they actually care about the character, I don't know. But it's interesting. The only thing I liked about this was the Red Guardian, the guy in the red outfit.
Oh, yeah.
I thought he was great. I would watch a whole TV series with him in it, obviously, because he's basically the Soviet-Russian Captain America, basically. And, because he was the only shining light in this trailer, unfortunately. Yeah. Which is a real shame. I shouldn't really have to say that, but it's a shame. But interesting enough, our next trailer, which I know you're going to cover, kind of almost seems like the opposite to some extent. I have a feeling they pretty much were are you going to drop the Black Widow trailer? Well, we're going to drop our trailer. And what is that trailer, Owl?
Wonder Woman 1984.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so...
I can hear the sexists getting angry now.
So it's the returning actress, Is it Gal Gadot?
Gal Gadot.
Yeah,
I believe. Yeah.
And same director as the last film. Patty Jenkins?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Hopefully, I got the right name. I watched the trailer. It seems promising.
Okay.
It looks pretty good. I did enjoy the last film that came out. I'm not a huge DC fan, and Wonder Woman hasn't been like a character that I've been always interested in. But I've always got the story of, I always get dragged along to go to the cinema. So I got dragged along to see the last film. I didn't want to see it. And I was like, they're like, no, please go. So I was like, okay, fine, I'll watch the film. I came out, I really enjoyed the film. So I'm actually looking forward to this film. And I really loved the 80s decade. So I'm just like, I'm sold. Definitely.
Okay, fair enough. That's very, very positive remarks for that. Yeah. I mean, almost on a like complete counter base, I mean, I did not like the last film.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was like a miserable like nightmare. But I do appreciate the fact that this film actually has color. Okay. Like it looks like they're actually like trying to let you see what's happening on the screen. Yeah. There are a few things that did bother me. The whole, another film with an 80s like nostalgia thing is just like, I've seen that already. It's like, I wish that wasn't just the crops of the selling point.
Oh,
because
I understand, yeah.
Why not base it in the 70s? Why not base it in the 90s?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Get
like,
that,
why the 80s? Why 1984? Because you already know that's going to have no real bearing on the villain or the story. I mean, whatever. I mean, the main issue, because I'll be honest, it looked promising. It would be promising. I am a big fan of the Wonder Woman character, not necessarily the films and how she's been used in the films. So I've always liked Wonder Woman.
Oh, okay, great. Okay.
But it really bothered me, that remix of like New Order's Blue Monday, which is the song that plays throughout the trailer. That's one of my favorite songs of all time.
Oh, wow.
And it's awful how they try to essentially replicate the clapping beat in that with like, with like sounds in the trailer and try to match it to like gunfire in that. And I was like, what are you doing? Like, it's so gimmicky. It's like outdated. I don't know if they're trying to be cool. Like, Wonder Woman doesn't need to be cool. She needs to be badass. Like you're just slapping the 80s in my face. I get it. Blue Monday came out in 1983. I get it. It would be a popular song. It's like, God, that really bothered me. Because it kind of makes the trailer just look like they're trying way too hard to be cool. I'd expect that in the Harley Quinn film, not this. Okay. I'm not saying like Wonder Woman has to be serious, but what I'm saying is that was just awful. Like, that was just awful, and it was a bad reflection of it on the film. But I mean, I'm actually hopeful for this film. Because the one thing that I'm positive about this film is now that we've got like the origin film out the way.
Yeah.
Like, she's established, like, we can actually do something with the character.
Yeah.
Exactly. We can actually have like, there's no pointless setup anymore. It's just like, there's Wonder Woman, she do things.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to that, and I'm hoping that something actually comes of that. Once again, much like Black Widow, didn't really see the villains. I mean, we did, but we didn't see them in their full form. We saw Man. And then we had Kirsten Wiig, who's going to become Cheetah. We didn't see her as Cheetah, which is interesting because Cheetah's a pretty silly character when you look at it. I mean, she can. She's the kind of villain that can rip your head off, but like, she's silly in concept. It's a woman that's a cheetah.
Oh, okay.
Like, let's be real. It's not serious, but
is it kind of like Catwoman? Kind of similar.
Cheetah is either, and this is kind of the thing I'm interested in. She's either a completely anthropomorphic cat, cheetah woman.
Oh,
okay. She's like part hybrid, basically, like a panther. Sorry, I don't know why I'm saying panther.
That's fine.
She's like a cheetah lady hybrid.
Oh, fair enough. Okay,
or it's a woman who has cheetah-like abilities in a costume.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay.
She's either one or the two.
Right. Okay.
And she has. I double check. She has quite a few origins that they can pick from, so I have no idea what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Given that she's given that Kristen Wiig's character is an archaeologist or something like that, and I believe befriends Wonder Woman in this film, I have a feeling it might be leaning towards, I found something.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm possessed with Wonder Woman, because she's always kind of been a friend of Wonder Woman in some incarnations.
Yeah.
But I'm interested to see whether it's going to be like a CGI cat lady or it's going to be her in a costume.
Yeah.
Hopefully we don't see CGI. Or, like, I don't know. If it's practical effects and looks good, I mean, I'll be down for that. But, like, I'm just wondering, like, I hope it's not going to be garbage. You know what I mean? Like, they haven't shown it, and I'm worried that the reason they haven't showed it was because they're going, oh, this looks bad, or we didn't finish the CGI in time.
or something like that.
Because, as much as people are going to, like, rip on Kristen Wiig because she was in the Ghostbusters remake, she's a good actress. Obviously, people know her more for comedy, and if you're interested, I have a feeling she's going to be more of the comedic, dorky kind of, oh my god, I love you, Wonder Woman, that kind of character. And then she's like, oh, now I hate Wonder Woman, now I'm the cheater,
Oh, yeah, kind of like a rival.
I have a feeling it's going to be like that. Oh, you're not a real woman, I'm a real woman, rubbish like that or something like that.
Oh, no. I hope it's not.
Base level. I have a feeling it's probably going to be something a little bit more. I think it has something to do with, my theory is I think it's going to have something to do with rituals and Wonder Woman's family, and then it's like, oh, her cheetah's family is like, or bloodline or what. I don't know what's gonna happen, but I'm interested to see what's gonna happen. We're not interested in Man. We already know Man is not the main villain. I know he's a DC character, but it's just Man. So that's not interested. I mean, the focus of the trailer, I think, the problem with the trailer is it focuses way too much on the time period and like really bad jokes, so no real story came through.
Yeah.
Like, what is the story? Wonder Woman flips a truck? Is that all that happens in the film? Like, it's like, it's like, oh, her, Chris Pine, whoever is back. It's like, why is he back? Like, okay, cool. And also, one thing I have a problem with it, which is one thing they haven't realized, is it's a prequel film. So I know that Wonder Woman will be perfectly fine no matter what happens in this film. She'll definitely live. And we already know that Cheetah will die. Because she wasn't in the other films, now was she? So, to spoil the film for you there, but
oh dear,
that's what happens when you make a prequel. That's what happens when you don't plan your cinematic universe.
I didn't think it was a prequel.
It's a prequel.
Wow, that's weird.
Yeah, it was 1984. Wonder Woman was a prequel as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it took place during the First World War.
Okay.
She appears in Justice League, which takes place in modern day. Cheetah was not mentioned. Nothing of 84 was mentioned.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Well.
That's my hype gone. No, but I'm sure the film will be fine.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it still.
I actually am looking forward to it. The poster, that really colourful poster, looks amazing. So I'm hyped for it. Next trailer, I don't know, was I going to talk about this one?
Oh, no, I was going to take this one.
You take this one, yeah.
So the next trailer is Free Guys, starring...
Free Guy.
Free Guy. Oh my god, Free
Guy. Get that right, guys. Get that right. Come on. Professional here.
Oh dear. Yeah, so Free Guy. So the main star is Ryan Reynolds, and it's directed by Sean Levy, who does Stranger Things and Night at the Museum. So the first thoughts I had on this film was, so it's just kind of like an ordinary day, but then like all this destruction is happening in one time, and then the whole scene in the bank where like he takes the risk of going up to the guy and like trying to confront him, and then the guy just beats the crap out of him. Mm-hmm. But then the bit where he gets like the glasses, and then it just basically, I can't think of the word of it right now, but shoots a bullet into the guy, and then like he's got a massive hole inside him. Mm. It's just like, okay, okay. So it's just mysterious glasses having these abilities. And then when he goes out and he puts the glasses on, and then you have all these things like aiming and all these stuff happening, I was like, okay, this is interesting. And then when he takes the glasses off, it goes back to how it was, and then it has like this whole technological effect on it. It kind of reminded me of the film They Live.
They Live.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that.
I have a feeling it was most likely a reference to that.
Yeah, it really reminded me of that. It's one of those films where it's like, okay, it's living in a video game world.
Yeah.
It's kind of like just real life GTA, I guess.
Yeah, and I mean, I'll be honest with you guys, I don't get this. I really don't get it. Like, I don't get a single thing about this film. And I know that may sound a bit weird, like, oh, why didn't you do your research? I don't get it. Like,
what is it about it that you don't get?
I don't understand the concept. I don't think the director or anyone... I think what most likely happened with the inception of this film is someone was explained how Grand Theft Auto 5 Online works.
Yeah.
And they just went, oh, video game. And then they made the film.
Mm.
Because if this is trying to be like a modern day game online,
yeah,
health packs don't appear like that. They don't appear randomly. That doesn't appear in GTA 5. There's no game that appears like that. So there's a weird mix mash of things where it's like, what game are you basing this on? Like, is this VR? I don't understand how an AI is now a player in the game. How does that work? Like, I don't get it, because he's meant to be an AI, right? So he's technically glitching out or gone rogue, correct? So how is he now a player in the game? Like, I really don't get what's going on in this film. Like, I don't understand it. Like, obviously things will get revealed, and obviously they don't give away the whole story, and I'm not trying to say, like, film is bad because I don't understand it, but I don't really understand a lot of this game's concepts. Like, it comes off as confusing, because there's shit happening in the background where I'm like, is this one game, or is this another game?
Like, or like a mixed match of games in
like,
one.
What's going on? Is this like an online thing? Like... Because how can I understand an AI can obviously kill the player. Yeah. But how is the AI now the player?
Right.
Like, does that make sense in not making sense? Like, I understand...
No, I'm baffled.
I understand we wouldn't have a movie, but here's the thing. There's a better way you could have done this, because... And it's presented as glasses? So, like, what? Is the person in the real life put on a pair of glasses to play this game? What happened to them when he killed him? Are they not entering the game anymore? Did they respawn? Like, what the hell is going on in this film? Like, I really don't get it. Like, I understand a lot of people are confused about this film as well. They're like, what's happening in this film? Like,
oh, really? Okay.
Like, the director of, like, What We Do in the Shadows and Thor 3 is, like, the main villain. Oh. And I'm just like, or maybe he's the main villain. And you got this other woman who's like, yeah, this is a game. And I'm like, does she not know he's an AI? Like, is he part of a side quest? Like, what is going on? Like, oh, there's something bigger going on? Are they all held hostage or something? Like, I don't get it. I really don't get this film.
I mean, the lady, the character of the lady interested me because the actress, she plays as the assassin in Killing Eve.
Okay.
So I think, like, I definitely enjoyed her performance in Killing Eve. She was really good. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm kind of looking forward to her playing the role in this game. She seems like a badass, so I'm definitely looking forward to, I guess, that's this character in the film, I guess.
It's fair to do. I just think there's, like, too many, like, things mixed up in this film. I don't think it's focused enough, honestly, for me to really understand what's going on.
Oh, okay.
Because it seems like it's all over the place. Like, I don't know. Obviously, things will probably get explained. Maybe they won't. But it just comes across as weird, some of the decisions they made. Like, the whole... Like, and that's the thing as well. The title of this film.
Free Guy.
Free Guy. What does that have to do with gaming? Free Guy? Like...
Yeah, actually, you got a good point there.
Like, I don't get it. If anything, shouldn't it be like... Sorry, I've read it in my list there. Shouldn't it be like Glitch Guy? Shouldn't it be like Rogue AI? Because that's what he is. Like, I don't get it. What does Free Guy mean? He's not really free if he was designed and fictional to do the same things all over again. Because he's still technically living in the game. If he was Free Guy, he wouldn't be in the game, would he?
Yeah.
If he was Free Guy, he should technically have unlimited powers because he broke from his scripting. Like, I don't get it. I'm not trying to be ill of the film, but I don't think they thought this through enough. You know, I don't think they were trying to be accurate to video games, but at the same time, I still don't think they wrote a great story.
Do you feel like this idea has been done way too much? Because I've kind of got that vibe.
Yeah, it's basically I'm in a new world, basically.
Yeah.
I don't like. I mean, I guess they're maybe trying to bank off like the success of like the Lego Movie to some extent as well, and maybe Ryan Reynolds being like the jokey cool guy in that. Yeah, probably. Which is fine. I think Ryan Reynolds is a great like performer in that. Yeah. But, you know, I have no issue with the performance in this film. I just think there's just... I don't know. I can't tell if they're trying to make this out to be serious or this is just a joke. Are we supposed to be going, that's stupid? Or are they going, no, take this seriously? This is a real game. You know what I mean? I really don't get it. And it does bother me. I didn't really have much to say other than just a bunch of like confusing ramblings because I don't know. And I'll be honest, I'm not interested in seeing this film at all. I don't actually care to find out the answer.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah. This was a weird one. Simply put.
Probably I'll get dragged along to see it.
well, in 6 or how many other months, you let me know what happens in that film. I want a spoiler review from you. Because I'm not going to pay to see this one. Speaking of films I might pay to see, let's talk about our next trailer, our last film trailer, and that is going to be James Bond 007 No Time to Die. No one knows how this film is meant to be pronounced. No one knows if it's just No Time to Die, or if it's 007 No Time to Die, or it's James Bond No Time to Die.
Yeah.
No one knows. So that's just what I'm calling it at the moment. It's technically called No Time to Die. And James Bond is back, and boy does he look like he wants to be there. It looks like nobody actually wants to be in this film. I understand that this is not the most happy, cheery film of all time, but it kind of... I get the vibe that everyone's like, yep, new James Bond film. I get that vibe. I might be wrong. I might just be, looking at the tone of the film a bit wrong and kind of just going, everyone looks miserable because it is a miserable film,
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's interesting because this film had problems, as I'm sure we know. After Spectre, which was awful, came out, Daniel Craig didn't want to do this film. People were like, yeah, no, that was bad. I want another James Bond film.
Oh, wow.
It's been passed around from directors a few times.
Yeah.
And they finally got it done. So I'm happy it got done. Obviously, I believe it's past studios as well. It's still MGM, but I think it's now Paramount doing this. So it's really weird to see James Bond with Paramount of all people. Yeah, Paramount is producing this film now because I think the rights to the character or the film franchise passed on to them now.
Oh, okay.
So that should be interesting, as opposed to, I think Sony had it. I think Sony or someone else had it at some point. I think Sony had the first two films, someone else had Spectre, and then I think now Paramount has it of all people. So, I'm not going to fuss over that, but I thought there were some interesting things in this trailer. Obviously, it does look nice. The film looks like it was shot very nicely. And I did like the concept of like that newer modern day spy. I liked her. I thought her character was pretty interesting. I liked the whole idea of, her not liking James Bond and being like, oh, you're just outdated and this isn't how we do it nowadays and all that. The only thing I didn't get about that was like the whole, wouldn't it be a bit unprofessional for like a spy to be like very bitter and emotional? I thought it was about like, why is she letting her emotions get the better of her just at the sight of one man? But, whatever. Rami Malek, who's going to be the main villain in this, as I think most of you know as Freddie Mercury in Bohemian Rhapsody and Mr. Robot and plenty of other things. He's a great actor. Very interesting to see him be the main villain. I like the fact he's wearing that mask. I forget what that mask is actually called, but I think that kind of is a creepy look, because I'm like, why would any, I guess, terrorist be wearing a mask that's like partly broken? Like, what's the significance of that?
Yeah.
Especially when you see him in the trailer and he doesn't have it on. It's like, well, what's going on there?
Yeah.
Does he have like, literally what's going on there? And I think it looks okay. I like some of the old school references to like the car that had the guns in it. That's from like some of the previous films and that. It looks okay. It certainly looks better than Spectre, and I'm fairly pleased about that. I don't think it's ever going to be as good as Skyfall, because Skyfall was too good because it wasn't a James Bond film. That's why it was good. Skyfall is really enjoyable. I would highly, if you're going to watch any modern day James Bond film, watch Skyfall.
Okay.
That's like by far one of the best. Your thoughts on this trailer? I don't know if you have any on this one.
No, I actually don't.
Fair enough. No, that's fair enough. I mean, the podcast is a mixed bag at the end of the day. Right, so we're going to be moving on to video games now. We're going to be talking about Sony. Oh no. And then next State of Play. Already doing another State of Play after the last one was a massive disappointment. But this one wasn't that much of a disappointment this time around.
Yeah.
I believe you have the first trailer you want to talk about.
Yeah, so Predator Hunting Grounds. The trailer looks really pleasing. I don't even own any of the newer consoles, by the way, but for a PS4 game, I'm definitely going to say, when I get one, I am buying this game. I love Predator games. Yeah. They're really good.
I know you do. That's why when I saw this, I was like, yeah, if I was on this one, we got to talk about this trailer.
Yeah. I actually also like the fact is the pre-order. If you pre-order the game, you get the 1987 Predator as well. So I was like, I don't ever pre-order games, but this might be one I might.
I only pre-order games if they come with a steel case. Or an art book.
Oh.
That's it.
Okay.
That's the only real incentive. If you got the art book, I'm like, oh shit, I've got to buy it now.
Yep.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, the only downside I have towards this game is that I think it's a shame that it's like mostly an online 2-team like versus game, which I feel is gonna hurt the game because it's gonna get forgotten about like as soon as it releases, because there's so many online games of this like nature. And
it's an online game.
I don't know if it's 100% online game, but I'm pretty sure it's an online multiplayer game. I highly doubt there's going to be a story campaign in this game.
But that'd be upsetting.
But don't quote me on that.
Yeah, okay.
it looks interesting. I mean, the Predators look like they're going to be a lot of fun to play as.
Yeah, and you play the different type of rank Predators as well.
Yeah, which I thought was really cool. Adds a little bit of depth. It does make me worry because who the hell wants to play as the humans now?
Yeah.
Like I can just see it now. I can see people getting randomly selected as humans, and I can just see people just like clicking out the game because who wants to play as the humans? I'll be interested to see if the humans have anything to combat the ultimate hunter.
Yeah.
But you know, even in the trailer, you do see like some guy just shoot Predator like ragdolls, and I'm like, okay, that's an interesting gun you got there. But yeah, I'm interested in this game. It's being published by the same people who did the Friday the 13th game.
Oh, okay.
Which is a game that is still being made because it's that poorly made.
Dear.
But this game looks a little bit more competent, although I did see some ragdoll and some bootleg animations. But then again, sometimes that stuff makes the game good.
Yeah.
When you just start flying halfway in the air and you're like, oh, okay. It's interesting though. There was a lot of things to like about this trailer. Like I said, all the gadgets and the things the Predator can do, and some of the environments, although the maps don't look too great. Hopefully there'll be some nice callbacks. Hopefully they don't do anything with the new Predator film.
Let's not even talk about that.
Let's not even talk about that rubbish. Yeah. One thing that I thought was quite funny that I noticed people freaking out about was like maybe the female Predator they showed in the trailer. If that is a female Predator,
I didn't even notice it.
It's a Predator that I think people have said has, I guess, a larger chest, and people are like, is that a female Predator?
Oh, okay.
If it is, sure. I guess that there must be some kind of female Predator. I don't know. Maybe the ones we've seen were female. I don't know. But that's interesting because that's never really been a canon thing.
No, it hasn't.
If Fox has been like, yeah, you can make a female Predator, that's pretty cool. Adds a little bit more to the lore. If there are female Predators in the series, let us know. I'd like to know if what they've done with Predator, because my knowledge of Predator ends with Predator 1.
Okay. Well, it was the best film anyway.
Predator 2 doesn't even exist in my world. That film never came out. I don't know if it's good or not. I don't know any. I've never seen it. I've never seen the poster of it. I've never seen the trailer of it. I've never seen that funny. DVD. It just ends there.
Predator 1. Well, Predator 1 is the best one.
Predator 1 is the best
Hands down.
It's the best one. I mean, that is the ultimate party movie to some extent.
Yeah.
Everyone loves Predator. Even my mum likes Predator. That's one of her favourite films. You know, she loves Predator, but she hates Predator. You know, because she finds Predator scary. But she'll watch it because Arnie's in it, though. You know, that's the main thing is, oh, you want to watch this film about this, like, alien assassin? Nah, Arnie knows. Put that DVD in. But yeah, I'm interested in this film. I probably won't play it, but I'd imagine it's going to be that game where it's like, my favourite YouTuber's playing it. Yeah, I'll watch 45 minutes of that.
Yeah.
I'll watch 45 minutes of people getting jacked up. Getting blown up. Next trailer we want to talk about, the only two trailers we really cared about in this state of play, and it's a big one. It is an actual shock. I was shocked when I saw this. I could not believe it. Resident Evil 3.
Oh yes.
I had no idea they were going to do a Resident Evil 3 remake. It came out of nowhere. Capcom said nothing about this and made no hints towards it. Amazing. I'm of course joking. It was the worst kept secret of 2019 that Capcom was remaking Resident Evil 3. And yeah, we have, because it got leaked on PSN, the pictures just went up on PSN.
Oh, that's funny.
It's just fine because the game's coming out soon, but it was like, yeah, there's the poster. You know, there's Carlos and Jill with Nemesis. It's like, oh, I guess it's happening now. But to be fair, Capcom always said they were going to do it. So it's not a surprise.
Yeah.
It's not a surprise.
It's expected anyway. They did 2.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I don't see why they wouldn't have, especially given that, as of right now, Resident Evil 2 Remake is one of the best-selling games of 2019. It has sold over 5 million copies.
Oh my god.
That's a big deal.
Yeah.
That is a big deal.
Time to get free out.
Yeah, exactly. Thank goodness I have 2 copies of... no, I have 1 copy of Resident Evil 3, excuse me. Yeah, I am really digging this trailer. They didn't show much gameplay. But that's okay, because I know how this game is going to play. And I'm really digging the character designs in this one. Because obviously, Resident Evil has a bit of an issue where they don't know what their characters look like anymore. The biggest example is Chris Redfield. His design has changed so many times. If you see how he looks in... That might be a bit of a spoiler, so let me just say, if you see how he looks in maybe one of the later games, you'll literally be like, that's not Chris. he looks that different. Some of the characters are essentially, remain unchanged, and they're essentially just slightly updated. You got characters like Brad Vickers, who basically looks the same. You have Malachi, or however you say it, Milikai. He's the guy who's in the train in the army uniform. He basically looks the same. Then you have characters like Nikolai and Carlos, who have like big freaking changes to their design, which I really like. Carlos looks like Miguel from Tekken 6, which is
yeah,
quite funny.
I thought that. I literally thought that as well.
People have been saying that since the poster came out, and I was like, yeah, he looks exactly like Miguel.
Yeah, I was like, oh my
more of a
god,
beard.
oh my god, Miguel.
Which is, I mean, I like Carlos's design here. I think he looks like an actual character. He looks like an army man, which is kind of cool. I think that's a good change, because before he looked like a white guy when he's like Latino. So
okay.
Whatever.
Could be Miguel's brother.
Maybe, maybe we could, some crossover there. I also prefer Jill's kind of she's wearing like a blue tank top as opposed to like a dress thing. I think that's a much better, given what she'll be doing in the game, that makes more sense. I never really understood the implication of why she was wearing that, especially what happens at the beginning of Resident Evil 3. It's like, it makes sense she would be in more casual clothes as opposed to a dress.
Yeah.
So
I felt like she looks a lot younger in this game, though.
She does. That might be because of the model they hired, who basically, yeah. I don't think they've said who the model is, but if you wanted to find someone who looked like Jill, you basically found Jill. Yeah, the woman looks great, honestly. Well, the whole game looks great. I'm really hopeful for this game. I hope that Carlos has more of a section in this game. Hopefully you play as him a lot more than he did in the original. Hopefully we get to see more brand new areas that they add, as well as old areas from Resident Evil 2 that have maybe changed to some extent. Maybe they can really freak out the player when you go back to the police station and just something bad has happened, because I think people already noticed that there's a certain enemy has already been seen in the trailer, and it's like, oh god. I can see what's going to happen there. And they don't show Nemesis. They don't really show him in this trailer.
They don't.
And I think that's a good thing, because it makes me even more hype for Nemesis.
For what he's gonna look like.
Because we barely even, we got the picture, but that doesn't really show his whole body, and we see a few scenes of him.
Yeah.
But I'm worried. I'm scared. I don't know what, because Tyrant in Resident Evil 5 Remake was bad enough, but I don't even know. I'm worried, because there's no limitations with this game. If they want Nemesis to jump out of the sky and break through the wall, they can. And he could easily do that, because he's Nemesis. People are going to be so scared playing. I'm scared just thinking about this, man. I'm worried. I'm checking my doctor, be like, oh, I might have a heart condition by the end of this game, man. I hope they really mess with people in this game, though, with Nemesis. I want people to go into the save room and then just Nemesis just to burst into it. I want stuff that to happen.
If that happens, that would be...
because they could do that.
Yeah, that would be very
They could do that.
Yeah.
They're going to do it one time, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
This, because that'd be a messed up...
Because Noah would be safe in that game.
Exactly. They could literally have the concept of, after a certain amount of time, the safe rooms just don't become safe.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You know what I mean?
That'd be really good.
Because, I completely forgot my train of thought. I was going to say something really cool there, but much like his coat jacket being a limiter to how much he can do, that might be the new limit, where it's you can only spend a certain amount of time in the save room before he just decides to come in, or don't go to that save room too many times, because he'll just come, you know what I mean? Or he'll get smart, he'll go, oh well, you always go to that save room, so I'm just gonna chill by that save room. It's gonna be interesting. I cannot wait for this game. And also I thought it was pretty good that they're attaching Project Resistance to this game, which was the multiplayer the game they're working on.
Oh, okay.
They're basically putting it together with that, which I think was a smart move, because no one really wanted to play or buy this game.
Oh, right,
so,
fair enough.
That can be the multiplayer of this game. It makes sense. Really quickly, I want to mention the fact that only just recently, the Resident Evil 2 Remake demo, Capcom put an update for it, where essentially there's a Nemesis Easter egg, which is pretty cool. It's actually pretty spooky when you think about it's a simple thingy, but it's essentially, if in the demo, if you go straight outside of the police station and you go up to a boarded up door, you can hear Nemesis saying stars. And I'm like,
oof.
When you hear it, it's kind of chilling. It's a bit creepy, because you don't see him again, and it's oh, he's just there. that's horrifying. You know, because obviously, if you didn't know, Resident Evil 2 and 3 take place roughly kind of at the same time.
Oh, right, okay.
So, yeah, because Resident Evil 3 takes place before and after Resident Evil 2.
Oh, wow. Oh, okay.
So Jill was basically there before everything happened, and she's there after everything happened. Yeah.
Right, okay.
So technically, a lot of the thing, like, because there's, in the remake, there's a wall that's been busted through. And people were like, did Tyrant do that, or did Nemesis do that?
Right.
Because obviously Jill was there before.
Yeah.
Jill was in the police station before Leon.
Okay, yeah.
So obviously it's like, you know, they can start hinting at certain things, like, and the pieces of the puzzle we put together, which is cool. That's a really cool Easter egg in a demo of all things. They added that in.
Yeah, a demo.
Yeah. It makes me wonder if they're going to go back and do that for the Resident Evil 2, if they're going to just start adding things in, like more information or more references to Nemesis. You know, they might even just be sneaky and be like, oh yeah, Nemesis is right there. You missed him? Oh, he's gone now. I think that'd be a really cool concept. But yeah, anything else you want to add to Resident Evil 3?
Not really.
Okay, fair enough. That essentially brings us to our discussion, which is going to be staying with video games, and that's going to be the Game Awards 2019, the winners, the losers, and everything else that happened in the Game Awards. I'm probably going to sound slightly different for the rest of this podcast because I'm going to be looking at my laptop screen, reading off things and that. So if I sound like I'm talking from another room, that's probably the reason why, so just to let you know. The Game Awards happened on the 12th of December, and I didn't bother watching them. I just want to see the highlights in that because I don't got 3 hours to watch that. Come on, man. But let's actually have a look at some of the stuff. I think we should start with the nominations and the winners.
Yeah.
Actually, I'm not going to say all the nominations. I'm going to say the category and I'm going to say the winners because...
best.
You know, this podcast is getting pretty long at the most part.
Yeah.
But hopefully it's entertaining. So we'll do the big one. Game of the Year went to Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. I'm pretty happy with that. It doesn't bother me. I personally would have liked to see Resident Evil 2 win, I think, because I think that was technically the better designed game.
I'm surprised actually it didn't get the Game of the Year.
I mean, to be honest, looking at all the games there, it was between those two, in my opinion. Not to say the Control and the Outer Worlds didn't deserve it. I think everyone kind of deserved it for the most part, but I don't know. I guess, you know, Dark Souls, whatever.
Yeah.
I think Resident Evil technically deserved something, but that's spoilers. But, you know, I mean, I'm not crying about it. We have Best Community Support, which is a bit of a joke. If you've ever been online and you've played with people, you know there is no community and there's no support between your peers.
Oh, God.
It went to Destiny 2.
Okay.
I'm surprised Destiny 2 still exists, but whatever.
Next.
Yep. Best Score/Music goes to Death Stranding. That makes sense. It has some original music. It has some nice choices of songs for the most part. It's fine. I mean, Devil May Cry obviously was there because of the one song, but...
Oh, okay. I wouldn't know what it is.
It's fine. Oh, you probably heard it.
Oh, okay.
You probably heard it, but I'm not going to...
Yeah, put it up. Yeah, that's
obviously.
Fine. That's fine.
Best Narrative went to Disco Elysium, which is a game I only just found out about.
Oh!
You know, goes to show how much I care about games today. I've looked at the game. It looks cool. It's like a top-down shooter kind of game.
Oh, okay.
Whatever. I mean, of all the games there, narrative-wise, it's a bit odd. Like, The Outer Worlds is a game that was kind of promoted more as a game that the story or the narrative isn't really the focus, so I'm surprised it's even there. I guess I would have given it to Death Stranding, I guess, because the cutscenes and the actual story of the game is really interesting. Yeah. Like, I'm going to watch all of those cutscenes at some point. Best Fighting Game went to Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which, no surprise there really, but I will say it's really nice that we have so many games in the fighting category now.
Yeah, I'm happy about that.
Yeah, you know, Mortal Kombat's there, Samurai Showdown, which I'm surprised is there, as well as like Dead or Alive 6, so I'm happy that the fighting game genre isn't like completely just terrible. I
actually heard a complaint about Fighters not being there.
Dragon Ball Z Fighters.
Yeah.
That didn't come out then. It's old. It's an older game.
Okay, it makes perfect sense then.
That's why.
That's why. Okay.
It was up for I'm pretty sure it was up for nomination last year.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure it was up for nomination last year.
Alright. Okay, cool.
Yeah, Best Audio Design, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019. I'm saying 2019 because there's 2 Modern Warfares now because people don't know how to name their bloody games. sure, I guess I would have given it to Resident Evil 2. Simply put, because best strategy game went to Fire Emblem Three Houses. Makes sense. It was probably the only strategy game people played this year, so that's fine by me. Content creator of the year, I've never heard of any of these people. So Michael Shrouded, whoever the hell he is.
Okay.
I'm not even going to say his second name because I don't know how you pronounce that, but Shrouded, or however you say that name. He won, or she won. I don't know who that is. Never heard of you. Next, best art direction went to Control, which I was very upset about. As nice a looking game as Control is, the art direction in Sekiro and Death Stranding and Grius was way more interesting. Grius literally looked like a watercolor cartoon.
Okay.
It's a beautiful looking game. And they gave it to Control, a game in which you mostly play inside a drab building that mostly has concrete.
Right, yeah.
What the hell happened there? No disrespect to Control, it's an okay game, it's fine, but I was like, really? Art direction? Best action game, Devil May Cry 5, that's deserved. If you want action, Devil May Cry 5 is action. Metro Exodus was weirdly there, that's a first-person shooter, so
okay.
I don't know what's going on there. Games for Impact, which are essentially games that kind of carry some kind of importance or kind of message or, whatever. It's starting the conversation to some extent. It went to Grius, or Gius, however you say it. Interesting, because pretty much every game had a point and had a message to it, so it was a hard decision. I'm glad Life is Strange 2 didn't win, because that game is pandering as hell. Sea of Solitude was a pretty interesting game. It's a shame that didn't win, because it has a really cool premise to it.
Okay.
I don't know if you saw that game.
No.
You essentially play as this woman, and she essentially looks like this weird black red-eyed monster.
Oh, okay.
And she's essentially completely alone, and she's essentially fighting off demons or inner demons.
Oh.
So it was a really interesting comment for what it's trying to say. So it's
interesting. Okay.
worth looking up, even if it's just to watch gameplay. Best family game went to Luigi's Mansion. I was about to say Mario's Mansion. Luigi's Mansion 3. That game looks like a lot of fun, so that makes sense. I don't know why Super Mario Maker 2 is there. That seems more of a frustrating strategy game.
Oh god, yeah.
Whatever. Best sports/racing game went to Crash Team Racing
Fueled.
Of course it did. Really pleased it won that against FIFA and F1 2019.
Why is FIFA even on the list?
Because it's technically a sports game.
Oh yeah, of course, but still.
It's also worth noting that WWE 2020 wasn't there. Because obviously the game is really glitchy, so obviously it wouldn't be there.
Yeah, okay.
Hopefully the fact that Crash Team Racing Nitro Fueled 1 will hopefully spur them on to make more DLC characters and more maps, and hopefully Activision will go, oh, there is life in this game, because I did some research and the player base for that game is still pretty strong. So that's good to hear, and they supposedly have another game coming out, racing game, or Crash game, I don't know. So that's cool. Best mobile game, which is my favourite category, went to Call of Duty Mobile.
Oh god.
Because of course it did. Best multiplayer game went to Apex Legends. Should have really gone to Call of Duty or Borderlands 3 if anything. Tetris 99 should have probably got it as well, but really Apex Legends? Like, no. Best ongoing game, which is just another excuse for like Overwatch or Fortnite to win. So and Fortnite won, so
it's okay.
Moving
Next.
on. Best VR game was Beat Saber.
I never heard of this one.
Never heard of this game myself. I really don't care about VR games, unfortunately.
Yeah, next section.
Are you in a hurry, Al?
Next section. Let's go, damn it.
I'm joking, obviously. Best performance in terms of voice acting and motion capture went to Mads Mikkelsen as Cliff from Death Stranding. That's deserved. He is the best actor out of all of them because he is a film actor and a good voice actor, so it makes absolute sense.
Fair enough.
Surprising Norman Reedus didn't win it, though, which is interesting.
Okay.
They're both nominated for the same game, but whatever. Player's voice, I don't actually know what that means.
Okay.
But it went to Fire Emblem Three Houses.
Alright.
So I don't know what that's about. I don't know if that's fans choosing it or what.
Okay.
Fresh Indie essentially went to ZAUM. I'm not sure if that's how their studio is pronounced, for Disco Elysium once again.
Okay.
They were really the big winners of this because they also won Best Role-Playing Game. Went to Disco Elysium
that's
again.
Good.
And Best Independent Game went to Disco Elysium.
Wow,
so
okay.
those guys really cleaned up.
That's really good.
Death Stranding as well, because they won Best Game Direction, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Resident Evil 2 really should have got it, in my opinion, because the actual direction of that game is amazing when you actually start doing research into it.
Right, okay.
Best Adventure Game went to Sekiro, Shadows Die Twice. Makes complete sense. We're going to skip the esports ones.
Oh, yeah, forget esports.
And, that's the end of it.
Oh.
Because esports doesn't really matter, in my opinion. So, essentially, the winners and losers, it was very odd. I feel like they missed out on a lot of games. I think some people who deserved to win, won, like Resident Evil 5 and Death Stranding and obviously Crash Team Racing. I'm just upset that Resident Evil 2 didn't win much. It really deserved to. I don't get it.
It's a shame.
It is a real shame. But that's basically the nominations. There are a ton of trailers they released during the awards, which makes complete sense. But I was only really interested in one trailer, and that was the trailer for No More Heroes 3, titled The Return. And this wasn't even really like a trailer. It was more or less a short film.
Okay.
A short animated film that I guess essentially sets up for No More Heroes 3. Because I think it was at E3 we saw a trailer for No More Heroes 3, and some craziness was going on in that trailer. I was like, it was like 30 seconds, but it was like Travis Touchdown, and he's like, some random guy just turns up, and then he turns to Travis Touchdown, and he's like, yeah, time to beat up some aliens. And I'm like, what? But now I guess we have a little bit more concept. The story is essentially this kid finds an alien, and it's like, yeah, we're gonna be friends, like an ET kind of thing. Okay. And they build a spaceship, and he goes into space, and he kind of gives him like some powers or something like that. That alien then comes back. He's like completely different, and he's like, yeah, I'm now the prince of like my home planet. Yeah, but I tried to like take over a bunch of worlds, and I got exiled, so let's take over Earth. And I brought my friends with me too.
Okay.
And I'm like, yeah, I'm watching that. I'm playing that game. It was very anime.
Oh, all right.
And intentionally anime. The art style changed various amounts of times because different people worked on this animation.
Right.
Like one studio did the first part with the kid and the alien.
Yeah.
Another studio did the animation with the aliens. One guy did all the alien designs, which are all over the place. They're like these weird... I don't even know what's going on with these character designs, but they look like some characters. They look like some bosses.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
And I'm hyped for that because Travis Touchdown has now to take down the galactic ranking of assassins.
Yeah.
Which is a cool concept. There's also the studio who did animation for Pop Team Epic, did a bit of animation in this as well. And yeah, I am really hyped for this game. And this is why I like Grasshopper Manufacturers and Suda51, creators of No More Heroes, because they make video games. Everything else, unfortunately, that was listed, it was just a bunch of samurais and warriors fighting at the end of the day. And you had No More Heroes, which had the balls to be like, yeah, no, we're going to drop like an almost 6 to 8 minute long opening for our anime-esque stupid action game.
Hey, why not?
And you're going to watch and you're going to buy that game because it's on Switch. And we all know Switch is killing it right now. But I was like, yes, I will be buying this game. I'm so hyped for this game. I've been looking for this game for a while, but like, I didn't really care about any other trailers, to be honest.
I was actually surprised when you mentioned No More Heroes 3. I was like, oh wow, they're making another one? I was actually surprised.
Because they did Travis Strikes Back, which was a Switch game, and it was like a weird mix match of like other games and other play type games, but there's some really cool stuff in there.
Okay, yeah.
And then it was like, yeah, we'll do No More Heroes 3. The amount of information that's come out about No More Heroes 3 is very interesting. Like I said, all the people working on it, like the person doing the designs, the lead, not being the lead, but one of the character designers for Bayonetta is working on the game as well.
Oh, that's interesting.
They did a really interesting redesign of a certain character from the second game who's apparently going to be in the third game, which has me very excited.
Okay.
And because it's Suda51, he's already teased that No More Heroes 4.
Oh!
Yeah,
wow,
basically
okay.
saying, yeah, this character, which he didn't say, is going to be appearing in No More Heroes 4. So, but that's what he's like.
Okay.
He's just like that.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Even the fact that the logo that appeared, that logo that says "Goddamn Superheroes," that was designed by a person. Specifically, a person designed that logo. So that's a good tagline as well, I think. But I'm hyped for this game, as you can probably tell. I'm gonna link a Twitter thread that this one guy did of all the animators and all the things going on in this trailer, because I can't give you all the names and all the stuff of it, but it's really interesting. Even if you don't give a damn about No More Heroes, it's worth knowing the amount of information and attention that went into this 6-minute trailer, or whatever, however long it was. I guess the one thing we should mention is the new Xbox console.
Oh, yeah. That computer tower.
Oh, gosh. Wow, you're being very nice about its design, because I've seen some awful comparisons to it. The Xbox Series X. What a stupid name. God. Why didn't you just call it the X? Like that is like, I mean, and you thought the Wii U was a confusing name. Oh, can I get the Xbox Series X, please? Oh, God. Oh, do you want the Series X or do you want the Series XL? What's the difference, sir? Oh, one is at 1440p while the other is at 2120p. What does that mean? My son just told me to get an Xbox. That's gonna be a real discussion. That's gonna be real good right there. I mean, its design is a bit odd. I mean, to be nice. I get it. They want it to be like minimalist. They want it to not take up a lot of space. You know, they want to be like, oh, look how powerful it is, but look how small it is. You know, sure, whatever. But you know, you're just asking for trouble when, you know, you're you're breaking the rules of convention. Every console has been flat.
Yeah, and then it's just the tower now.
It's a tower. It looks like I'd like put my beer in it or something like that. It's bizarre.
Series X.
Just call it the X.
Yeah.
Just call it the X or the XB or something like that. I mean, it's really bad. You couldn't have just been simple, like, oh, just call it Xbox 2 or something, or 720, or, you know, PlayStation 1, 2, 3, and 4.
Yeah. No.
I'll be shocked if Sony comes out and go, yeah, no, it's PlayStation Omega. I'd be like, what?
What? Yeah. Nani?
Yeah, literally, I'd be like, what's going on here? It's obviously going to be PlayStation 5. I mean, they've already said it's PlayStation 5, but the one thing that is worth mentioning is it'll be interesting to see what the PlayStation 5 does look like. It makes me wonder if Sony are going to have like a big bulky thing, and people are going to go, oh, I want the slimmer, nicer thing. It does make me wonder, or is Sony going to go, oh, you're making a slim console that stands up, right? Well, we're going to just make ours a slim console that stands up. Makes me wonder if because they're obviously Sony's waiting for them to drop it, and I was shocked that they did it here.
Yeah.
I thought they would maybe savor it for an event, but obviously, you know, Microsoft needs to catch up.
Yeah. Okay.
And I'd imagine they looked at Nintendo and went, oh, so it's all about convenience, because I guarantee you that was designed with the whole, you can pick it up and put it in your pocket, take it to your friend's house. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So they most likely looked at Switch and went, oh, it's all about convenience now. It's all about, I want to take my games everywhere.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if it has some kind of feature where it's like, just put it on your friend's desk and you can play your games. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if it had something like that. I wouldn't be surprised if it only needed like a power outlet, which would be cool. But, you know, I don't mind. I like the whole convenient aspect of it. I don't like its actual design. I think it's especially the top of it where it has like the weird exhaustion holes or whatever you call it.
God.
It's got like holes or a pattern.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if that's to vent air or whatever.
Probably. Possibly.
It's a bit odd. I mean, and also in terms of its design, it's just a rectangle, which obviously, if I had that right now on the desk, you wouldn't know what the hell that was. You'd be like, oh, is that your new mic? You'd be like, no.
It's a bit chunky.
Yeah.
Your mic.
Yeah, which I thought was a bit bizarre. But I mean, props to them for at least trying something new, I guess. I'll give them that at the very least. Even if it does come off as a bit ridiculous. But hey, I want to see the games. If you got good games, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's what I want. I want the good games. I don't care. It could look like a damn monkey for all I care. If it plays good games, I'll buy it.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
You know, so that was a bit of a shock for the most part. They did show off some, I guess, games that were like running on it, I guess. Like Hellblade 2. And I was like, people go, oh man, the graphics look so good. And I was like, you do know that's a cinematic cutscene, right? You know.
Oh no.
And also, even if that is running on Series X gameplay, it's gonna look garbage on the screen of the awards show as well, because the screen ain't outputting like 60 frames per second or nothing like that. So I wouldn't get that upside. And I mean, I don't care about Hellblade 2 neither. It doesn't bother me at all. You know, there was something, I mean, I just didn't really care. Personally. I mean, Sons of the Forest, that kind of looked cool, but I didn't really know what was going on in that trailer. It looked just a bit too weird. I kind of lost interest the moment the main character was on the helicopter, which is like, that's the new way you start your horror game now, with faceless guy in vehicle now.
Oh no.
He kind of like pulls down his sleeve and he has a tattoo that says "Kill Demons," and I'm like, wow, look at this edgelord over here. You know, but I like kind of like, it looked a bit freaky, but it just looked like a walking simulator. Oh no, run from the scary monster. Yeah, they showed off stuff I just didn't care about, honestly. The beginning trailer for 9 to 5, not to be confused with the Dolly Parton song, the actual game, 9 to 5, which is like a tactical first-person shooter, had like a really funny beginning to the trailer where it was like a bunch of like CGI Disney-esque like rabbits with guns firing them off and doing like the Fortnight dance or whatever. And you know, cut back to the military guy literally going, "What the fuck is this shit?" I thought that was quite funny, but it didn't tell me anything about the game. It was just like, there's a new shoot bang game called 9 to 5.
Next.
Like, literally next. I lost interest. And of course, Fast and Furious Crossroads. The game that ended the show. That's how you want to end your show, with a bang, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm hyped for that game. But there were some nice things that happened during the event as well. Like, I did like that Reggie Fils-Aimé, you know, he kind of came up on stage, and obviously he's retired as the president of Nintendo.
Oh, that's nice.
The American president of Nintendo. So he did a very nice speech, because I believe he hosted the best indie game.
Oh, okay.
And he had a really, I'd encourage people to actually watch. He had a really nice speech where he talked about how this was the most important award.
Oh,
because at some point everyone was an indie developer, and those indie developers go on to do what we talk about later on.
Right.
And I thought that was a really nice thing for him to talk about. It was had like Churches, the band Churches. They did they performed a song from Death Stranding.
Okay.
And she was kind of dressed up appropriately from Death Stranding.
Oh, that's
which is pretty cool. Because I think Hideo Kojima and another character designer, they designed her costume. Or they did a design for her costume in the style of that. So I'll put that in the description as well, because that's a really cool look. Which is nice. And the last thing I want to mention is the fact that we obviously saw two of the Muppets characters appear on stage. Beaker and the other Professor character. They essentially did a bit before they revealed a game award, and you got to see the Goose from Untitled Goose Game, which is a very weird crossover cameo
was a
thing.
Weird game.
Yeah, Untitled Goose Game is basically play as an arsehole the game, basically, because the goose just goes and like ruins people's days. But you know, whatever, it's fine. It's odd. But anything else you want to talk about with this Game Awards?
Not in terms of the Game Awards, but I did want to add something, since we're on the topic of games. Tekken has a new release trailer, so they brought out a new character and a returning character.
Oh yeah, I think I know the new character, but I can't remember the returning character.
The new character, well, I'll go a little bit into the trailer and what I thought of the character.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, so basically it starts off with like Murdoch beating the crap out of Armor King. And then him still like bragging and saying he's number one and blah blah blah. But he's got like a beard now, and he's got like a new look as well.
Okay.
And then next thing you know, he gets like surrounded by soldiers, and then they're saying like place this. I don't actually know the proper name of it. It's like some. I wouldn't say. I'll just say it's a box, something, a metallic box.
Okay.
And they place it down, and basically they release this guy, and the guy's all scarred up. He's got like tattoos and everything, and then he walks off. And you can see, like, he's got, like, the Muay Thai kickboxing shorts. So I was like, okay, it's a new Muay Thai fighter. Like, oh, this is interesting. And then, he looked like a new villain or some sort. He looked really sinister. But then when he walked up to Murdoch, he was, like, taller than Murdoch. I was like, what the hell? Yeah. I didn't think they would make a character bigger than Murdoch.
Yeah, because he's a big man.
Yeah. And then when it comes off the cinematic thing, he's shorter than... he's short.
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
I was like, what?
I did see that. He's, like, weirdly shorter than him for some reason. That was so stupid.
Yeah, I was like, what? Oh, my days. I was like, okay. It's funny, someone said he looks like a new Baki character.
Oh, no.
I was like, oh my gosh, he kind of does.
Oh, dear.
But I do want to mention, Bruce ain't coming back. He ain't coming back.
Oh, no. Not Bruce.
He ain't coming back. I think this guy's just taking over Bruce.
I hope not, man. I mean, if you want to put... if this is going to be the last Tekken game, you got to put everyone in there, man. Come on.
Yeah, I was...
I mean, there's still time. I mean, I think much like Street Fighter, they want this game to last forever. I mean, I don't know how long it's going to last, given that we're moving on to the next generation of consoles. I don't know if there's going to be like a Tekken 7 complete collection on, the next consoles. I don't know, but it's interesting though.
And then the returning character is Gunryu.
Gunryu,
the sumo wrestler.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, interesting.
So he's returning. He's got a completely new look. So he's wearing like the Buddha necklace, but it's like big beads around it.
Okay.
And then he doesn't wear the I'll have the name of it if I can find it in my notes. So he doesn't wear the purple mawashi he wears with his like traditional rikishi look. Mm-hmm. He wears black hakana and geta sandals as well, and he's got a beard. He looks a lot older now, but he looks way more promising. And I think a lot more people are going to play as him, I think. He's a really underrated character. But I think, he definitely looks like he's going to be more solid.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's a nice little tidbit. I would definitely add that in the... is it one trailer, yeah?
I believe it is in one trailer. I think... Is it one trailer? I think I saw it as one trailer, but the videos on YouTube are separate, I believe.
Okay, we'll put that somewhere in the description and the download link so that you can actually watch that if you want to see it. As soon as we're on the topic of video games. And that's pretty much going to wrap up this podcast, the last normal podcast of 2019. We've got to talk about the video of the episode, of course, which is going to be Hair Love, which is essentially an animation coming from Sony Animations done by one Matthew A. Cherry. Really sweet, really funny, and really nice animation about a girl and a father who essentially need to fix her hair.
Oh yeah, that was heartwarming.
It's really nice and really sweet.
Okay, I did watch that.
And it's I'd imagine for a lot of people it's very relatable.
Yeah,
I'd imagine, and very modern, very up to times, and there's a lot of really funny comedic visuals and stuff like that. So I wanted to recommend that because I thought it was absolutely lovely. And anything else you want to add to this podcast before it gets too long?
No, that's it.
No, the only thing else I have to say is the next podcast will be podcast 131, the best and the worst of 2019. I'm not going to say who's going to be on it. I'm not going to say when it's going to come out because I don't know when. But it will be out slightly earlier or slightly later than the normal schedule. So look forward to that podcast because I know everyone else is. It's going to be interesting. I don't know if we'll all be friends by the end of it.
Oh dear.
But anything else you want to add before we wrap this up?
No, that's it.
All right, cool. I want to thank you, Al, for being on this podcast.
No problem.
To kind of pseudo end of the year to some extent. Although you might be on the next podcast. We'll keep a secret, but we'll say, won't confirm anything, But if that's the case, I'll end this podcast like I always do by saying I was the Angry Raccoon.
I'm the Indigenous Al.
And we will see you on the next podcast.